All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gabe Cohen, and I'm GuideStar's Director of Communications. Welcome to a demo of our brand new GuideStar search. Thanks for taking a few minutes to join us today. I'm going to start by going over a few housekeeping items so you know how to participate in today's event. Here you'll see on the screen a screenshot of the GoToWebinar attendee interface. You should see something similar to this on your own computer on the upper right-hand corner. If you've joined the presentation listening to your computer speaker by default and you would prefer to use the telephone, just select telephone in the audio pane and then dial information will be displayed. As always, we've blocked off a few minutes at the end of today's event to answer your questions. To submit a question, simply type it into the questions pane of the control panel on the right-hand side of the screen. Feel free to submit questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect these and try to address as many as possible during the end of the demo. And with that, I'd like to introduce my teammate Scott Menzel, who will be leading today's demo. Scott is our Senior Product Manager and the brains behind our new search. As you can see, Scott is also a customer evangelist, swagger and figurehead, and compliment deflector. On the right side, you see me. I will lead the Q&A at the end. Well, like Scott, I'm a swaggering figurehead as well. I'm more of a customer messenger and a compliment absorber. So with that, Scott, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it. Before we jump into the demonstration today, I just want to share just a few slides, and then we'll spend the majority of today actually looking at the new search and features. So by way of an introduction, I just want to share with you our basic product development process and essentially how we got to where we are with search now. The first thing is always user and customer inputs and feedback, such as these here, that lead us down the path to design, and then validating the solution with the subset of our users and subscribers. We then plan and develop the new feature, in this case search, and then we do some extensive beta testing, which we also had done for a new search experience. Then we collect the beta feedback, whether or not there are any bugs that we have to fix or improvements. We then fix those. We develop the improvements. We do more beta testing and kind of go through this cycle again, and then eventually we launch like we did last week with new search. Next, I want to go over what's new, but before we go over what's new, let's start with what's old. These are screenshots of our old search interface. And as you can see here, this is our old advanced search page for pro users, and the page was so long it was almost unusable. This is our old results page. It lacked a lot of search filters. We just had the 4 up here. So there was just generally poor navigation, there were minimal filtering ability, it was somewhat slow, and there was really inadequate feature controls for our subscribers, including our premium subscribers and our pro subscribers. So what's new? Well, the new advanced search page sort of marries the filters, the filtering capability, the criteria, and the all in the same page, so that you can manipulate these filters and see the results in real time. There's been improved speed and relevancy in search results because we've implemented a completely new search engine on the back end. We have improved feature controls for premium and pro subscribers, and we'll get into that during the demo. We have various download feature improvements, again for our premium and pro subscribers, that we'll get into as we dig further into the demo. And then we have greatly improved people search functionality. All of these will be demoed. So just at a high level, the new download features, before premium and pro subscribers could only download 2,500 records at a time. In the new experience, they can now download their maximum monthly limit of 5,000 records at a single time in a single queue. We have the ability to multi-select organizations on the results page for inclusion in the download queue. There's instant feedback to the user now. Once somebody added organizations, this overlay then appears. And what we did in order to allow the 5,000 record limit in the download is we do this via asynchronous processing. All of that means is that the user will receive an email as soon as the download file is ready, which is a maximum of 15 minutes. Generally, it's running at about 5 minutes or less at this point. All right, so with all of that said, let's just jump into the live demo. All right, before we really get started here, I just want to say that the new search page is available. The homepage search box will take you directly there. You can also get directly to the advanced search page by clicking this link on the homepage or this link in the header, and it will take you right to the same page. But let's just get started by entering our search term right from here. I also want to say that what we're demoing here is the pro experience of our search product, but the basic user interface for all user levels is essentially the same. It's just that pro gets a few more features than basic or premium. So as you can see, I put in Audubon. First result here is National Audubon Society. There's all kinds of other Audubon societies under it. So you can just kind of see that the improved relevancy here is pretty good. Let's just put in another widely searched for organization. Red Cross, you get the American National Red Cross initially. And you can kind of see here that within what we do is within an organization's mission and program content, we take excerpts from that and put that within each one of the results based on the keywords searched for, so users can get a better sense of why certain organizations are appearing before other organizations in certain keyword searches. Just another really quick example. National Resources Defense Council. As you can see, I just put in the, really what this is the AKA, but our new search does a really good job of boosting relevancy based on AKAs of organizations, as you can see here. So let's see, let's do one more quick example. Obviously, this is the scenario where the organization name or EIN is known. So you're entering discrete names into the search interface. And then obviously for Habitat for Humanity, there's a lot of different Habitat for Humanity organizations. Let's just say you're looking for the one in Omaha. And then that's your first result up here is the organization in Omaha. So another example is when you're not necessarily looking for a specific organization, but it's more like a subject matter or a keyword. Just cancer. In this case, certainly you'll get organizations with cancer in the name, but this is now acting more as a keyword type search than an organization name search. It's a nice mix of relevancy within the single search box, whereas before we had a discrete org name and organization name and keyword boxes. We've sort of gotten the best of both worlds in a much more simplified interface. So now, another common scenario in our organization search is that users are looking for organizations within a certain set of parameters. So let's skip over geography for now and then just go into cause area, which is basically the NTEE category. So by clicking health, you can see that we automatically got real-time feedback. These are the organizations under this NTEE category. At this point, we can select any number of sub-cause areas, which are actually the NTEE codes. And what is displayed here, all the ones under E. If we wanted to, we could also add another category code here and then add associated subcodes. Let's just stick with the health, general rehabilitated for now. All right, so let's say that within these organizations, we really only wanted 501c3s. And then the search updates again. And then let's just say organizations within a certain range of employees, say between 100 and 1,000. One thing to note here is that, yeah, you can use these slider bars if you want to, but this interface is very flexible, and it also allows you to enter discrete values merely by hovering over. And one other handy feature is that if you don't feel like typing all of the zeros, you can enter a K for thousands, an M for millions, and a B for billions. We'll get into a little bit more of that when we start looking at the financial filters. But again, right here, let's just put in 1K, and you can see it automatically makes that 1,000. And then let's further exclude revoked organizations and organizations that have not been within consecutive editions of the BMF that could be defunct, or they could have merged. And then we, as you can see, we're whittling down the results to meet all of our criteria as we go here. So let's try another scenario. Let's just say we want organizations with program results metrics. And these are basically the results metrics are available in organizations that participate in our profile update program at the platinum level. So let's just look in cause area again. Let's go human services. And then P62. So, and now what we want to do, and you could have done this in any order, by the way. It's pretty agnostic as far as that goes. You can use this selector to view those organizations with platinum level data, which again is it reports program results. Let's just, I realize the purpose of the demo today is more to look at search, but let's just take a look at the metrics that are available for this organization. Okay, so we have our program data here, and then here are the program results metrics self-reported to GuideStar by this organization. So again, the new search allows you to filter by platinum organizations so that you can see this type of data. All right, let's do another scenario where you just want a results set within a certain set of parameters, and let's go a little bit more heavily on the financials this time, but let's pick an MSA first. Let's go to Phoenix. Let's say we want those organizations that file 990s only, so no private foundations. Or you could just as easily go up here and select 501c3 public charities. We don't want revoked or possibly defunct or merged organizations. And let's go to the financial filters, and let's say we just want organizations between, let's just say, 5 million and 7.25 million. And again, as you can see, the search is being filtered almost immediately. And let's pick let's pick something pretty granular here. Let's go to like sort of, let's just try investable assets, for example. And let's just go 150,000 and 500,000 in cash and equivalent. So that whittles it down to 11. Continue to filter this search by any of these parameters. So I think you probably get the gist of how to filter organizations. Let's just go over, now that we're here, some of the other feature control improvements that we've made. So Premium and Pro subscribers still have the ability to save organizations to a special area. These are the organizations that maybe you use most often. Maybe they belong for foundation users. Maybe these are frequent grantees or potential grantees. You can do it this way, or you could select any number of these on this particular page and then add those all to your saved organizations. Or if you prefer, you can do this individually, and these organizations have been saved. And then to view your saved organizations, it works much like it did before, and that you come to your saved organizations queue here, and let's say you have thousands of organizations that you've saved, and you want to sift through and find certain subsets of organizations that you've saved. You are afforded the same ability to filter on this page as you are on the search results page. So that's just kind of a handy way of doing this. Another common use case for Premium and Pro subscribers is that they'll save a lot of these organizations that they want to download, and then they can just download all of their saved organizations from this experience here. So speaking of before we download anything, you also have the ability to save this search. So I had entered fairly extensive filtering and criteria into this search, and if this is a search that I run often, I'd probably want to save it so that I could run it again without having to put all of that criteria back in. So you can do so this way, and then you can run your saved searches at any point you want from this interface merely by clicking one of these. Obviously, you probably want to name these something a little bit more meaningful, like health organizations in Phoenix or something. But you can run any of these searches from this page. Again, it's just handy for those searches that contain a lot of criteria. For the new download features, you have the ability to add individual organizations to your download queue, or you can add all of them. And again, this is only 11 results here, but you can add, if you choose to download all 8 organizations, because I'd already added 3, you can edit your queue, or you can just click download now. And when you click download now, you will receive an email within 15 minutes. Again, it's usually running a lot faster than that, but just to be on the safe side, we say that you'll receive an email within 15 minutes with a link to the download queue and to your file. So just to get a quick look at the download queue, this is the new download queue here. This is the file that we just created. It's in the process of being created right now. Again, you'll receive an email when it's ready. You don't necessarily need to receive the email to go to this queue at any time. As soon as it's ready, this pending will change from pending into a link to download it. This just gives you a sense of all of the fields that you'll get within Premium Pro. Premium subscribers get a subset of these fields. So let's go back. And that is pretty much the big changes in, I wanted to keep these examples fairly brief for organization search. Now, Premium Pro subscribers are also afforded the ability to do a search for people, and that's accessed by going here, and this takes you to the people search interface. So much like the search scenarios for organizations, There are times when you want to search for an individual by his actual name. But let's say you're not quite sure, you think you remember that the CEO of Audubon Society is David Yarn something. So what you can do is that if you have like the dilemma, if you've got the first part of his name, this also does a pretty good job at changing nicknames to actual names as well. So as you can see here, so then, all right, so you have 11 results here, but let's say you know he works, this is the Audubon guy. You can further whittle this results down by Audubon, and here he is. This is David Yarnold, President and CEO for the National Audubon Society. There is another scenario where you might be looking for all people within a certain organization, and then again, you can utilize this. You can put in an EIN, or you can put in an organization name, and then what will be returned are all of the people reported on that EIN's 990. So in this case, it's the National Boy Scouts of America Council. You could have entered that org name as well if you preferred to do it that way, or if you weren't sure of the EIN. Lastly, for people search, there's much like the organization search, you might be searching for people within a given set of parameters. So let's just say you're searching for I don't know, anybody with people within technology within the nonprofit sector, anybody really with technology in their title. So you can put in this title aggregator here, technology. This will return those CIOs, Chief Information Officer, Director of IT, anything that's kind of grouped into that technology category. Let's say for some reason you wanted to put in you wanted to specify a salary range as well, and you could put in between 50,000 and 120,000. So that further narrows this list down. You could then those within organizations within Arizona, and then the same type of thing with cause area as you also had on educational institutions, for example. And then you can continue to narrow until you get what you're really looking for here, and it's all in real time. In our old experience, if you didn't get all of the parameters that you wanted on the original advanced search page, you'd have to flip back and forth until you got what you want. This way it puts everything together in a fairly neat package within the same interface. And like organization search, you can also save people searches too in much the same way. So that is pretty much the demo that I have. Now I guess it's time for some Q&A here. But before we get started, I think that we want to give you guys a poll based on the demo that we just did.
So we're going to give you guys just a few more seconds here to answer as the results come in. The question, as you can see there, is what is the most exciting feature about GuideStar's new search? So go ahead and share. And you can see here that it looks like people are pretty excited about all of the new features, Scott, but in particular the multiple filter and the advanced searches in real time.
Yeah, that's really that was a lot of the input that we had prior to developing the new search. That was a highly desired feature. So it's edifying to hear that's what everybody's excited about, really.
Great. All right, so now I think we're going to move on to the question and answer section today. And just a reminder that if you have any other questions, we've had a fair amount of questions already, but if there's any more questions, go ahead and just type them in the right-hand side in the questions tab of the interface. And I'm going to start, Scott, by asking a question that we get a lot these days, and that is, are 990s still available for free?
They absolutely are still available for free. You know, for unregistered, for registered users, you get up to 3 years, the 3 most recent years of 990 on the profile pages. And you know, I believe that really our new profile pages, I think, give a lot more important context and a lot more valuable information, especially for those organizations that share their information with us via the profile update program, than the data that is available within the 990s. That said, I know that there is some data that in the 990s that some users just absolutely need to have. But I encourage you to explore the new profile pages that, well, they're newish now, right? We released them some time ago, but the context and some of the information, especially the programmatic information that is in our profile pages, is just a lot better, a lot richer than what's available in the 990s.
Great, yeah, and we had a question about that platinum information that you were showing, which I think I can address. And the person asked if a nonprofit actually uploads that information directly to GuideStar, and the answer to that question is yes. So we launched the Platinum Seal of Transparency just earlier this summer. We have 1,000 organizations who've already participated and shared those quantitative results metrics with us. And yeah, they're just entering it right onto GuideStar, and then it shows up onto their profile. So we're pretty excited about that. And there was a follow-up to that of if that is a premium service or if it costs money for a nonprofit to do that. And no, it is always free for a nonprofit to do that. And that information is available for free to all of our users too. That's not a premium level of information at all. Scott, we had a question about whether or not the new search is mobile optimized. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It is. It is. Now, right out of the gate, there may have been some little things about it that might still, we're still in the process of completely 100% optimizing it for mobile. That said, it works very well in mobile. It works 100 times better than our last search worked in mobile, especially at sort of the very small screen, the phone level. And yeah, we support Chrome for Android. We support Safari for iOS. It looks really sharp in mobile, and it's getting better all the time.
Great. Next question we've got here is about the subsection filtering, Scott. And the question is, when you're selecting multiple subsections, is it an or an and?
It is an and. The subsection, any given organization in the BMF, it can only be assigned a single subsection. So it's you know, if for instance, if you wanted the 501c3s, you could select that, and if you also selected C4s, you would get, it would be additional organizations, right? It wouldn't be, because we don't have any organizations in our database that are both. So it's going to continue to add organizations as you select different subsections.
Next question here is about the financial data that we have, and someone was asking, is this only from the 990s, the financial data that's showing up there?
That is correct. That is only from that. We have been really wanting to get additional financial information from varying sources. Now, well, that said, let me take a step back. Primarily, the filters that you see on the results page for the financials are 990 type, are sourced from the 990s. But for those organizations that, you know, for the especially total income and total assets, that is sourced from the BMF, the IRS Business Master File, because that data is generally more up to date than the 990 financials. So that's the only difference on the search filters within the new search experience.
Great chat. We actually had a question. Someone was just asking, what is a 990? So can you just give a quick background on that?
Absolutely. Okay, so a Form 990 is basically a nonprofit organization's tax return. They are required to file it just like you and me and everybody else is required to file on a 1040 or a 1040EZ or whatever it is that you file on every year. It's, there is some modicum of program data in the Forms 990, but it's mostly about the financial aspects, balance sheet, income statement, etc. There are some declarations on there. There the people, pretty fairly extensive people data about the organization. So that's what the 990 is. It's basically a nonprofit organization's tax return.
Great. Next question we have is Ray is pointing out that he thinks that there's some missing filters from the finance tab, and he gives examples of special events income or government grants. Can you just talk a little bit about how we landed on the filters that we landed on?
Yeah, and that's great because I do want to mention to everybody on the webinar that this is we will continue to iterate on this. We will continue to we can add filters, but moving forward we can add a lot of things moving forward and probably end up doing that. So I just wanted to assure everybody that we're going to continue to iterate on the search experience. Back to the question is that we looking at the analytics that we had, the filters that are currently on this experience were the filters that were most used and the data that was most consumed in our old experience. Now that data is probably imperfect, and again I can assure everybody on the call that we will iterate on this, and we will have the ability to add filters, but the filters that are there are the filters that were and the financial data that was most consumed in our old experience.
Great question there, Ray, and thanks for the answer, Scott. So we have a question here about saved searches. So when a search is it saved as a snapshot in time, or is it always up to date with real-time information?
It's always up to date in real-time information. The reason being that there may be organizations that fall off of the BMF. There may be organizations that go defunct. There may be organizations that are no longer there. There may be organizations that start filing under a different form type, or they change their foundation code. So if any of those parameters are in the saved search, then those organizations will fall out. Every saved search is based on a set of parameters, not on a set of results.
Great. We have a question here about the biggest benefit of signing up for GuideStar Premium. Can you talk a little bit about that, Scott?
Well, for many users, the registered experience is pretty good. But if you want additional data on the profile pages, I'm just going to show a quick example because sometimes it's just better to show this. So a premium subscriber just has access to digitized data on people, such as this. If that's what you want, you also have the ability to download the 5 most recent fiscal years of the officers, directors, trustees, key employees, also the highest paid employees. And the board of directors here as well, the most recent year of that. The financial data is a lot more extensive. You also have the ability to download the 5 most recent years of your income statement here and your balance sheet here, just by clicking those buttons. You also have these long-tail data visualizations that really dig deep into an organization's finances to tell the story, long-tail story about a given organization. There are also these various quote-unquote performance type metrics or liquidity, that kind of thing. And this is all stuff that, these are all features that premium subscribers get, along with those other things that I had mentioned before, the ability to download data for multiple organizations, not just one organization at a time, like I just showed there, but up to 5,000 organizations at a time, and the ability to save searches, the ability to save organizations, etc. So that's really about it. Oh, not only that, you also have access to all of the Forms 990 and Forms 990T that we have on hand. And if we have, I'm not sure if this organization has, this one doesn't have an audited financial statement, but if it did, it would be available to a premium and or pro subscriber. So that's, in a nutshell, that's really the benefit of paying for a subscription.
Yeah, and I'll just note, we just got another question here about the benefits of Pro. So for more information on that, you can email either Scott or I. Our information will be on the last slides there. You can go to learn.guidestar.org/products, and you're going to find some information on there. But feel free to reach out to us too, and we can get you more information. There was a question here about how long searches are saved for. Scott, can you address that?
They are saved as long as you maintain your GuideStar registered GuideStar account. We did run into an issue where, when we switched over to the new search engine, those users that had saved searches previously, unfortunately, we couldn't do that because of massive changes in the underlying architecture. So they were notified twice on separate occasions, just to make sure that they were aware of that. But moving forward, we've now configured the save search feature so that that won't happen again. They're saved in perpetuity. If you are a premium subscriber and you have saved searches for a month and then you drop out, if you were to re-up your premium subscription at some point based on the same user credentials, those saved searches will still be there, along with your saved organizations if you have any as well.
Yeah, there's another question here, Scott, about if you could save a search to your computer instead, or does it have to be through the website?
It's through the website only at this point, but that's an interesting question. Whoever submitted that question, please feel free to email me. I'd like to talk to you about that a little bit more.
Great. Someone had said that they're having a little bit of trouble searching by EIN. Is there a trick to that, Scott? Do they need to do the digit hyphen and then the rest of the digits, or how does that work best?
Shouldn't have to. So let's just try. This is the one I used before. This is Boy Scouts. It should work either way. I would love for whoever, and as you can see, that we get the same result here. So the hyphen does not matter. If the attendee that submitted that question could send the EIN that they are having trouble with directly to smenzel@guidestar.org, I will look into it.
Great, thanks. There's a question here about, I want to search by NTEE code, but I want orgs that have 2 or more NTEEs. Can I do that?
Right. The answer is yes, but you can't specify the NTEEs So as everybody knows, or as most people know, there's a primary NTEE code that is assigned in the GuideStar, not the GuideStar BMF, the IRS Business Master File. Organizations can also specify additional NTEE codes through our profile update program. So when you, I think this is what the question is, if you specify 2 NTEE codes, it does not return organizations with just those 2 codes. So it's, basically it'll return all organizations with code A and all organizations with code B, regardless of what other NTEE codes those organizations have. Again, though, I would like to, I would not mind at all talking with with whoever submitted that question. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more in depth. And again, my email address is smenzel@guidestar.org, so please feel free to ping me.
Great. And this one's not directly related to search, but I think it's an interesting question for you to talk about, Scott. How does GuideStar get information that a nonprofit has closed and therefore it should no longer show up on GuideStar?
Generally speaking, an organization will provide us with some documentation. They'll call our stakeholder support team. Now, we very rarely, I mean, unless an organization really wants us to remove them, we will do that. We will set them not to display on our website. But even organizations, if there are defunct organizations, and I should really say potentially defunct organizations out there, are really organizations that we define as not having been in 6 consecutive issuances of the IRS Business Master File. We'll generally tag those organizations on our site that says, and there's a flag that says this organization may be defunct or may have merged with another organization. That's another thing that we find a lot. There's not a lot of organizations necessarily that just kind of fall off, but there are some that merge. There are a lot of mergers out there in nonprofit land. So we will flag those organizations for the most part. So that, you know, it can happen in any number of ways. But to really remove an organization, you know, a nonprofit should contact us and just make the argument that, you know, they need to be removed.
Great, and I think we've got time for one last question here. And the question is, once an organization subscribes, do all members have access? And I'm assuming that this person is talking about something like a multi-seat subscription. Can you talk about that a little bit, Scott?
Sure, yeah. So generally speaking, I mean, so we do have what's known as a multi-seat license, in which case there is one account holder that can provision seats of the product to others within their enterprise or within their organization. But if someone that purchases a single subscription for Premium or Pro or Charity Check, the subscription is only associated with that user's registered user credentials. So that user can log in using, you know, his or her credentials and will have access to the product, but other users can't log in and use the product using their own registered credentials.
All right. Well, that is about all the time we have today. Thanks everybody for joining us. This demo will be available and recorded so that you can listen to it in the future. And if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to either Scott or myself. You can see our email addresses there, or you can try out the search for yourself at guidestar.org/search. And lastly, if you want some information on Premium and Pro, just go to learn.guidestar.org/products, or you can fill out that you'd like more information on the post-event survey, and we'll be in touch. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you.